An Ashwaubenon chiropractor has been accused of sexually assaulting 3 of his patients. The local public safety department began an investigation into Ray Rodden after multiple women discussed similar incidents with him. Rodden spoke to the investigator himself, saying he provides treatments that other chiropractors cannot. Rodden has been charged with 3 counts of 4th-degree sexual assault, which could lead to fines and up to 9 months in jail. He's scheduled to make an initial appearance in court on Tuesday, October 10th.